When I first got the invitation to be the commission composer for NIB's 2021 shindig, I was absolutely thrilled. I was really thrilled because, first of all, I love writing for up-and-coming musicians and giving them challenging material to play. And I was also thrilled to have the opportunity to write a longer form piece, because even in the contract, it said the piece will be no less than 10 minutes. And, it said 10 to 20 or whatever. I gave them 25, I think. It was suspended, and it's 4 movements. But that's a really big gift to a composer expressively, to say, here, run out your thoughts, see where you go. It's a very different thing. The architecture of a long piece is very different than that of a short piece. 3 minutes and, A, B, A, you're done. You're done. Go out. Go have a drink. That's it. Long piece, much, much different. So there was the thrill of getting the invitation. And that, of course, every composer will tell you, is immediately followed by sheer terror. The sheer terror of, I'm a fraud, I have no ideas, I have no idea what I'm going to do, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Every single composer feels this way. It's just part of the gig. So that's how I felt. It was a great honor to be invited to do this. The timing of this commission could not have been more perfect, in a way that no one could have anticipated, because I certainly didn't know when I got this sizable piece to write that I'd have so much to say, and hopefully be able to say it on behalf of an awful lot of people in the wake of the pandemic and in the midst of the pandemic. Boy, did that give me fodder that I just never would have anticipated. And the symphony is a complete reflection, personally, of the different stages of what we've all been kind of collectively experiencing. And as I said from the lip of the stage at the premiere, every one of us has had an individual and unique experience through the pandemic and through all the months of this. And yet I think that collectively we do feel rage and grief, and we see the macabre, almost comedic nature of some of this. And then also collectively, with luck, we do see glimmers of hope. And that, to me, is a trajectory of a story. And I decided to take an approach of a classical symphony. I mean, classical as in Haydn. Classical as in Haydn and Beethoven. Using that as a form, classical symphonic form, for the 4 movements. So the first movement is called Airborne. It's filled with chaos and rage. And it's just a strong statement, and we're developing it, and it's, somewhat a sonata form. The second movement is very melancholy and dark, and it's got glimmers of warmth, but in a deeply sad way, I think, and a wailing kind of feel to it. And it's called Distanced, and that one is your more traditional, longer, second lyrical movement, as you would find in a classical symphony, classical with a capital C. That is followed by what would have always been a minuet and trio, which later became a minuet and scherzo, a little joke. And so I kind of combined them. It's a minuet and trio form, but the trio is sort of a scherzo, and with ping pong balls and all kinds of sparkly things. And it's just, it completely lightens the mood, and yet there's darkness. There's a creepiness in this little bit of comedy that I was pleased with how that worked out, because that's a trick, make something funny but creepy at the same time. And then the final movement is called Viral. And that one is, bat out of hell, fast, insistent, and increasingly, filled with a little bit of hope, to the point at the very end I bring in this kind of almost band-like melody, which is not my style, really, that band kind of sound. And like I'm running, riding my horse through the ensemble, saying, "Here we go, it's going to be okay." But anyway, that was how I chose to end the piece, because as with symphonies of the past, they tell a story, and usually they end with something a bit uplifting. So the pandemic was an incredible opportunity to do that. And besides, how many times does one really get to do a 7-part rondo, huh? I would really recommend to anybody that they audition for NIB for next year and beyond and become part of this, because the fraternities are just amazing. I'm really very touched to be an honorary brother of both Kappa Kappa Psi and Tau Beta Sigma now, and that means a lot to me. And the fraternities are this incredible community, as you know, and to be part of an event with an incredibly condensed schedule where you're learning an amazing amount of music in just 2.5 days. And some of that music is like my 26-minute symphony, which is not only new music, but a little weird, more than a little weird in some places, right? So it's an extraordinary thing to have that skill set for those of the students who are themselves looking to be conductors. They could have had no finer role model than watching Dr. Cynthia Johnston Turner at the helm putting all this music together in that short amount of time. I mean, I am forever grateful to her for her unbelievable passion and talent, and just she's a spark. She's incredible, and what a lucky person I was to be able to collaborate with Cynthia. And for the people in the band who themselves maybe not are going to go into music, if they're going to be architects or plumbers or whatever, it's fantastic for them to have this experience, to see how the sausage is made and carry that with them forevermore, because they will always be concert goers and music lovers. So it's just an incredibly powerful experience. And the people that made it happen, the leadership of the two fraternities and the leadership in the Stillwater, Oklahoma office, oh my gosh, everybody was just so wonderful to everybody else, not just to me, which they were, but to everybody. The tone of the entire event is beautiful, and I really recommend that everybody consider being part of it.